Hey, some friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Symptomistic, like optimistic, but make it Sims, and I am doing my first ever create a Sim with no CC. I don't think I've ever done this. I don't even know if I played the game like this. Whatever. This is the first ever, and it'll be a couple. But in addition to that, the Sim Summit just happened, or behind the scenes Sim Summit, whatever you want to call it, happened. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I am going to try very hard to organize my thoughts and talk about the Sims and then talk about the Sim Summit towards the end. So continue watching if you want to hear either of those. There will be chapters, so you can click around. In the spirit of kind of spooky season, this is about a couple that is not necessarily on the right side of the law, and I am trying to figure out a way to say this in a way that YouTube will find appropriate, but they unalive people often. And this is kind of inspired by a Criminal Minds episode I saw a long time ago and kind of just never forgot about a couple that went around unaliving people. Well, I think there were a couple episodes. Criminal Minds was on for a really long time, but I found that scary and creepy. And yeah, so that's what inspired these Sims. I couldn't decide whether to make them boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife, so I made them fiancés, but also because the game doesn't let you have them live in the same household and be boyfriend and girlfriend already, like just set up. You would have to go in and live out their life to set that up. So now they are fiancés. Now, even though this is kind of spooky season inspired, I feel like in some ways these could just be regular Sims, and I can upload them onto the gallery so you can use them however you like, because I wanted to make these Sims intentionally like they could fit in. I wanted them to look like anyone else. Sometimes evil people don't always look like what evil people look like on television. So I wanted to kind of have that bit of realism in it. Now let's talk a little bit about what made this process a little difficult. I I play with the game a lot of I have a lot of presets, and I don't really think about it. Like, I thought what would make this difficult was more like hair stuff, and I will say we get into hair a little bit when we get into the female sim, but I struggled a little bit not having like as many options for like facial presets, and that was a bit of a surprise for me. I didn't really struggle with the Sims clothing or like everyday look. I feel like I do end up using a lot of in-game clothing for male Sims just because like alpha stuff just sometimes can be kind of jarring from my type of gameplay. And so, like, I don't always feel like I have the best options for male Sims, and I just don't feel like a lot of CC looks like any of the people I see in real life for me. Like maybe where these CC creators live, like the guys dress like this all the time, or maybe that's just what they want the guys to dress like. But I feel like for like simple everyday clothing, it is difficult to find male CC. This is one of my favorite suits. He looks so dapper in it, and you would not suspect that him and his girl are gonna probably like follow you after the event and capture you. So watch out for the well-dressed couple at the event. One thing that makes this couple hard to catch is that one, they blend in, but also another thing is that they are very loyal to each other, and I wanted to use that new trait that came out, the loyalty trait. And they also are, they are smart. They don't leave anything behind. That's mainly like the male Sims, who I'll get into his name a little bit later, but that's mainly his call. Like he's the one that kind of cleans up, and he's generally naturally a neat Sim, so he's gonna make sure nothing's left behind. They're just very efficient, and they kind of don't need a lot because they like get their social needs met from each other. They can save money because it's two of them. They are able to move through the sim worlds very easily. they also are able to think of this as like a game that they're playing together, and they have all of these identities. So I give them names, but they are the Sims that can change their identities. They sometimes are, they'll pretend to be a married couple, sometimes they'll pretend to be siblings. They'll do what they have to do to kind of reach their terrible goals. They are also very smart Sims. When they're not out hunting people, they are at home reading books and just learning new things. So I'm not sure how or what sim is going to stop them. So an interesting thing I did about their party outfit was I decided to make that their outfit for doing their dirty work. And so I give them a masked version and an unmasked version. And I think if I decide to play with these Sims or do a current households or mini LP, whichever, I might give them alternative party outfits so that they can actually go to parties. And, that could be something else that they do. But for now, that was just the best place I thought to create their outfits for their little game that they play, because I feel like most times they are in regular clothes and they're just blending in with the rest of the Sims. As we're working through this Sim, let's get into his name. So his name is Tristan Minor. I kind of let the game randomize the names until I felt like it had a bit of a ring to it. So those were names I had in mind. And again, they may change their names when they go to different places, but I'm going to make that their actual names. Like, so whatever names I say in this video, that is their names. If you see them by any other names in any of my LPs, just know that they are up to no good. And Tristan's traits are hot-headed, which he started, that's kind of how they got on this journey. I think he got really upset about something and he unalived someone, and his fiance, girlfriend at the time, was along for the ride. He's also a bookworm, which I mentioned they like to read books at home, and then he's also very neat. So this was also interesting, using less traits, because I've started getting accustomed to using more than 3 traits for my Sims. So that was nice. Just keep it nice and simple. His aspiration is to cause chaos, which is the same for his fiance. They both have that same aspiration. And yes, that is Tristan Minor's traits. I believe this whole outfit is base game, which is impressive. And I don't even think it's like, what are they called? Packs. I don't even think it's packs or anything like that. That whole summer outfit was base game. I'm sure the shorts came out later than when it originally started, because I can tell by the number of like creases and things in it. Like the Sims just didn't have that much detail when The Sims 4 first came out. And I am giving him one of my favorite coats. I use this coat all the time, and I probably again need more just chill male CC, but I really love this coat. Shout out to Seasons. And that's pretty much it for Mr. Tristan. His outfits are all planned out, and then you can just see me randomizing his information. So let's start talking about his partner in crime. And I'm just gonna say I had a lot more difficulty making her without CC than I did with him. I must really rely heavily on CC hairs. Like, I just was kind of lost for a while trying to figure her out. So I'm sure I'm gonna end up cutting a lot out of this until I figure it out. But in the meantime, I struggled with hairs, I struggled with outfits, I struggled even with skin tone a little. I don't know, it just wasn't, it just felt more difficult. I needed my presets, I needed eyebrows. It was rough. Like I don't even know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I like this experiment. It was something out of my comfort zone, but in some ways it was much easier to make the male sim than it was the female sim. And I know we complain so much about male Sims and their clothing options, just like there's so much more for female Sims, but is there? Like, is it cute? Is it something that like people would wear in real life? So I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you feel about like clothing with the gender, and let's not even get into like how, if you take off the gender and you want like non-binary clothing that it doesn't already always like fit the other Sim's body properly. Let's not even get into that. But I don't know about the clothing struggles here. I knew for this sim I wanted her to look younger than she was. Her and Tristan are the same age, but I wanted her to always appear a little younger. I think that is something that benefits them in how they deal with people, and that people are kind of caught off guard by like how young she looks. They see her as kind of non-threatening. So I wanted to make sure that her appearance kind of had that. And I struggled to find hair that kind of fit that. But then one of the newer hairs, I think it was from Snowy Escape, ends up being what I need to kind of make that happen. The trouble I had with it was that whenever I give my Sims braids or something like that, something similar, ponytails, I always want them to be able to change their hair, because I feel like nobody wears braids or ponytails 100% of the time, like their whole life. Maybe they'll do like a couple of years where they, wear their hair like that for a while, but they tend to like change their hairstyle if they wear braids. And because there aren't enough curly textures or hairs that kind of like are the same length that are curly, it was difficult to do this hairstyle and switch her out of it the way I wanted to, but I figure it out eventually. But it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. Also, right here I discovered that you can like change their underwear color, which I I just never noticed that. Things you don't notice when you have a lot of CC in the game. And I'm already seeing with clothing and hair that I'm using a lot of the stuff from newer packs. Like this is from Home Decorator. So I think that's a pattern with the female CC that you end up using newer packs. I mean, these pants are from, I'm not going to use those. I don't think those are it. But yeah, you end up using things that were created later in the game, which I guess that means they're improving, right? Well, we'll talk about that for some summit. Let's get into name and traits. So her name is Kayla Cruz, which I just thought had a nice ring to it. Again, more randomization for names. And her traits are she is erratic, she is loyal, and she is a klepto. So I wanted to make her more of the wild card than he was. I wanted her to be kind of erratic, and I feel like sometimes when they're playing their little quote unquote game, that kind of throws Tristan off, like that she enjoys like things that are unpredictable. I think that's kind of why she liked him when he was like hot-headed in the past. She enjoys that like suspense and doing things that aren't expected. And Tristan, besides like his anger issues, can be very like linear and tends to like plan things out. And so I think that's kind of like their balance. And so she's erratic. She also enjoys like the rush of stealing. She always did before she met him. And maybe she keeps like something that she stole from these people that they have not treated so nicely. And then there's her loyalty, which honestly, I just wanted to try that trait out because I hadn't used that trait because it just came out. So we'll see what that looks like in some gameplay. Let me know in the comments if you actually want me to record that or just report back in another video. I can let you know how I feel about that trait. But I also gave it to her because I felt like it was something necessary for what these two are embarking on. Oh, and since we're on makeup, let's the makeup in this game, you guys, is horrible. Like it's really it's not good. And I try to keep this channel positive, but this was just a moment where I was like, this is not working. Maybe there's a couple of lipsticks, but like these wild eyeshadows, even with the sliders, like it was just it wasn't working. So I tended to keep her makeup to a minimum. I think it helps that she kind of has a youthful appearance, so maybe too much makeup isn't the look for her anyway. But because it was just such a struggle, I kept it real low key. The earrings weren't too bad to me, but I'm also somebody who keeps like jewelry kind of minimal in real life. It's just I get the benefits of accessorizing with an outfit, but I just don't always feel like it's the most productive use of my time to like figure out jewelry for every outfit that I wear. So I just kind of like switch between the same three. Okay, you are probably more than halfway through this video at this point, so it's definitely time to start talking about the Sims Summit. So this is the same day that it came out when I'm recording this. I'm not sure when this video will go live, but hopefully in the next couple of days. Otherwise, that's really embarrassing. But let's just say in general, I am somebody who is content with The Sims 4. Like, I am happy with it. It's not a perfect game, but I don't have like really strong complaints because if I did, I would just stop playing it. And to be fair, these past couple of weeks, I have been spending a lot of time playing Animal Crossing because that is my favorite thing to do in the fall and be cozy and just sit there with my Switch instead of sitting in front of my laptop. And so, yeah, I do take breaks from The Sims and it does enable me not to be as frustrated with the game as, you know, sometimes people get when the game is broken in many ways and not not improving at the rate we would like. So the Sim Summit promised us all this excitement. I didn't really know what it meant. I just saw people tweeting that they couldn't wait to see the behind the scenes. Like, are they going to talk about Sims 5? And that's kind of why I bring up my thoughts on Sims 4 because personally, I am in no rush to get to Sims 5. See I don't really see the excitement for Sims 5 because it's not, it's not tangible. It's kind of abstract. Like it's something that's like I would have to imagine it and who knows if that would come to fruition. So I don't feel excitement for Sims 5. Plus I spent all this money on Sims 4. Like I don't want to switch to something else at this point. I get why people are still playing Sims 2 and Sims 3 because they invested all this time and money in it. They don't want to get rid of it like that. So that makes sense to me. Now, if you don't want spoilers for the Sims Summit, I would suggest you pause this and go watch it because you can always replay it on YouTube. It's only 30 minutes, so you can watch it pretty quickly. But truthfully, you aren't missing that much, and you can probably just watch your favorite Sims creators talk about it and get the gist because it definitely could have been an email. To me, it was not that exciting, but we will go over the things that were great and the things that were not so great or not so exciting, shall I say. So, one of the things I am excited about, which is what I'm always excited about, is more expansion packs. They said in 2023 we'll have 2 new worlds, assuming 2 new expansion packs. I'm always excited. It doesn't really matter what the world looks like. I'm going to enjoy it. I still haven't bought werewolves, so I'm still looking forward to that world once it goes on sale. But there was a world like they did a rendering, so I'm not even gonna show it. It wasn't like an actual picture of the world. It was like some rendering that somebody drew that wasn't even in like Sims style. So don't worry about it. You're not missing anything. But it had a promenade in it. I love promenades. We only have Magnolia Promenade, but maybe this one will be more walkable and more enjoyable for The Sims. So I look forward to that. It went through the history of like, oh, thank you for 22 years. And that was cute, but I could have definitely done without it. There were some dancers, there were some actors, actresses. Yeah, wasn't, to me, it wasn't anything to write home about it. It just extended the wait for what the actual meat of the information was. And so they also talked about a new platform for trusted modders and CC creators, and they're partnering with Overwolf. I don't know who Overwolf is, but maybe it'll be interesting. It sounds kind of like the Sims Resource, whatever that website is, except sponsored by EA, and it'll probably be like an easier, like safer platform, especially so you don't have to worry about as many bugs. I I like the idea. I think it'll give more people access to CC and make people who are worried about getting viruses. I know we have like a lot of PC players and things like that, so it'll make those people feel safer. Personally, for me, I don't feel any excitement about it because I feel like I have no trouble finding CC. Like, I know my favorite creators, I bookmark their sites or follow them on Tumblr. Like, I don't really struggle with finding CC or accessing CC. So to me, this just sounds like a way for the company to get some ad revenue, which is cool because these companies, they make money. That's how they function. But I don't necessarily see how this will benefit us. So I'll wait. I'll see if there's some kind of benefit to us in the long run, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts. And then it was cute seeing the CC creators be involved, and even the simmers like on YouTube and Stitch and stuff like that. Shout out to Spring Sims, who was, I think, the only Black creator we saw in that, which that's kind of embarrassing. EA Maxis, like, yeah, that's pretty embarrassing. You guys should know better. Moving on. And then one thing that was interesting to me was I did not know about Sims FreePlay. I thought Sims FreePlay and Sims Mobile were the same thing. And you guys, if you play any of them, you have to let me know in the comments what's the difference. I don't really play mobile games. I think I downloaded The Sims Mobile at one point, but then I'm not really into mobile games, but I'm curious to know what you think about them. So it was interesting to see that. Now, let's talk about Project Rene, which we all agree that that's The Sims 5, right? Like, I'm not sure what this is, why they're telling us like their internal secret project names. But I mean, maybe they won't name it The Sims 5. Maybe they'll name it something completely different, and that's why they're calling it Project Rene. I enjoyed what I saw. Their little, the beds were giving Animal Crossing, or maybe I've just been playing Animal Crossing too much. But I liked that there's color wheels in the future. It's very hard for me to get excited about games that are years out when I know there are other creators like putting these games out now. So who knows if I'm gonna want that 3 years from now? Like, who knows if we will even be interested? The concept is cute, lovely, looks great, but for now, Sims 4 is here to stay, and there's nothing I can do with that. But let me know in the comments what you thought about the Sims 5 slash Project Rene stuff. And it looked beautiful. I will say that it looked beautiful, but yeah, it's nothing I can do with it now. So not sure how to feel. And then last but certainly not least, what everyone is very excited about, babies. Babies being outside of the crib, babies crawl, like they showed like a little baby crawling. Like it was literally like a 2-second clip. I'm sure you can just see it on like Twitter or something. And one thing I'm excited about the babies evolving in 2023, by the way, that's not happening this year, is that the baby's skin tones should be appropriate now. I think I liked it, looked really cute. I think it's something that'll feel fun for a little bit, and then I'll be aging them up like I do with the toddlers, where it'll feel like maybe they'll have other developmental stages, and that'll be interesting. But I think I'm just more excited at this point for for child to elder play in The Sims. I think I've just accepted that about myself. I do like family play, but managing children in real life is a lot, managing toddlers and babies, and I think in the game, I prefer things that are just a little bit easier. I don't think I play The Sims for a challenge. I play it for the freedom and the storytelling and the visuals and the community and things like that. So, yeah, that is pretty much sums that's pretty much all my thoughts. I'm looking at my notes because I had to write some things down about The Sims Summit. Overall, the positive is that Sims 4 isn't going anywhere. And so it seems like there'll be a lot more to play. And doing this video of no CC Sims has really shown me how much The Sims has evolved. The Sims 4 particularly has evolved over the years, and the clothing looks better, the hairs, things look better. We're going in a positive direction, and that makes me happy. Now back to your regularly scheduled program of me talking about the Sims and cast. And so you can see we're pretty much done. Well, we're at hot weather wear for Kayla, and you've seen I've given her like a lot of youthful, like teenage. I feel like some things are from like Discovery University, and some things are from high school years. Just wanted to give her that like kind of teenage air about her, even though she's an adult. And for these Sims, I am going to place them in my founder's save file, which if you're new here, first of all, welcome. Thanks for becoming a Sim friend. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that fun stuff. And I am going to start them off in that founder save challenge that I do, where I essentially erase everything and all the Sims that live there are starting anew and they're starting fresh. But I don't know if these Sims will live there forever because they have to avoid certain things and they may move to other save files. But for now, this is like the perfect save file for them to be in because they are just escaping whatever trouble they've caused. And look at these bell bottoms. They look amazing. Literally never seen these. Probably never would have. Also, I probably need to clean out my CC folder because it's showing me how much stuff I don't see because like my cast is bogged down by so many things. I also left their backstory kind of blank, so you guys can kind of guess in the comments what more of like their individual history is, like how did they meet, where they're from, where are they from, what are their parents like. You can kind of guess what that is. I kind of wanted to leave it like up in the air just to add a little mystery to these Sims, and I would love to hear your thoughts on where you think they came from. And surprisingly, after I had already started this video, I decided to put them in a home in one of the worlds, and so I will show a little bit at the end about that, so stay tuned for that. But I do want to thank you all for watching and just always supporting and always being so nice in the comments. I always feel like this is a positive space. And here we are. This is a sneak peek of where I put them. So if you can't tell, I'll just tell you this is Evergreen Harbor. I feel like that is kind of where I do put a lot of my Sims that are not always up to the best of intentions. But I was also testing out whatever thing they did to update the game when they made base game free, where if you follow the tips, you get free simoleons. So just scroll through the tips, even though we've been playing The Sims for a long time. So that is my little suggestion. And thanks for watching. I'm Optimistic, like optimistic, but make it Sims. Bye, some friends.